Hi, friends. Good morning. Hello. So nice to see everyone on this beautiful Sunday morning. We are so happy to be here. Get your play online for not the first activity because we had Rise and Shine this morning, but the second activity of our sports week. So happy to see some people joining us. Glad that you're all here. So I'm not wearing as fun of a costume as Emma was this morning, but my name is Leora. And it's so exciting to be here with everyone. And I know that usually we have our friend Callie here. Unfortunately, there was a schedule mix up this morning and you're stuck with me. So we're not going to be doing painting. We're actually going to be making a fun game that really anybody, any age can make. There's lots of different ways that you can make it. So here are some examples that I made for our game. I'm not exactly sure what to call it. So if you have an idea of what we can call it, please write it in the comments below. And maybe when we make our flyer for it to post in the comments later, your name will be the one that we use. So tell us what you think we should call this game. It's kind of a memory game, kind of a guessing game. You can really play it however you want. You need three things. You need paper, which we're going to cut into little squares. You need scissors, and you need markers. You can also use crayons or colored pencils. I just had markers most available. So what we're going to do is we're going to first cut our paper into little squares. Then we're going to decorate them to be the pieces for our game. And then we can play it a little bit. So the idea is what we're going to do, we're going to choose something related to sports. So this example, I chose a soccer ball. And one card is going to get the soccer ball. The other card is going to get a soccer ball on it. So you can draw a regular circle soccer ball, or I chose to draw pieces that make it look like a soccer ball. So this is how I chose to do my game. You can also make two of these or two of these or something different. But with the pieces this way, you can play regular memory game, which we also have a version of in our themed activity packet for this week on Etsy. If you haven't yet checked it out, go over and check it out. There's a whole bunch of activities all related to sports, and one of them is a memory game. But since we already gave you a memory game, I wanted to do something a little bit different. And so it's also a guessing game because this isn't just a soccer ball. You might have to look and think, well, what does that look like? And then you notice the shapes, the black shapes and the white backgrounds, and you realize it's soccer. So you can use just these pieces to play a game, or you can put them together any way that you want. So we are going to jump right in. We are going to get started. The other example I made, let's see if anyone can guess what this one is. It's a ticket. So I made a ticket because how you get into the sports games is with a ticket. So the first thing we're going to do is we are going to take our paper. And if you're not old enough to use scissors by yourself, make sure to have an adult with you. We're going to fold it to cut it up. Now you can just cut it up into pieces however you want, but if you want to make sure you have pretty even sized pieces, we're going to fold it hamburger way. And then we're going to fold it hamburger way again. And then now it's kind of confusing which way is hamburger, which way is hot dog, but we're going to fold it hamburger way again to the short sides. And then we don't need to fold it again. We can just cut it down the middle. So now is when we're going to start cutting. And I'm going to cut all along those folds. Okay. So you can get started cutting your paper too. Making sure Everything cuts nicely. It doesn't have to be exactly even. Now, I will say that if you have cardstock paper, that's probably even better for this because you won't be able to see the things through the paper if you really wanted to play memory. But if you don't have cardstock, regular paper is just fine. Okay, the first one I'm going to make is a basketball. Colors I need for that are orange and black. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to actually color my entire square orange. Now, since I don't want to get any marker on my table, I am going to put another piece of paper down underneath so that it doesn't get any marker on it. Okay, so I'm just setting up so that I can tilt you guys down so you can see. Oh, not far down enough. Hold on, moving you over. There we go. Now you can see my paper. So first I'm going to color the whole thing orange. See why it's helpful to have, oh, you can't see. There we go. Some scrap paper. So I don't really have to pay attention if I'm coloring inside the lines. Because now I made a mess on my paper. Let me know if you come up with a name for our game. Okay, just about done. Does not have to be perfect. And there we go. Now, what else do basketballs have? They have those lines. I'm going to take the thin tip because I have both. And I'm going to make some lines on my paper. Now, they're not quite straight lines. I made them a little bit curved because it's kind of like a round basketball then. So like I said, you can make 2 of these for a matching game. Or if you're doing the trivia version, take the other one and I'm going to do it in orange so that it matches. And I'm going to write basketball on the second one. And I'm going to put it in my pile. Next one I'm going to do is baseball. Now, baseballs are white and red. So since I don't need to color this white, I'm just going to leave it. And the cool thing about baseballs is that the stitching that they have, I wish I had a baseball to show you, kind of looks like X's. So I'm going to make, let's say if this was my, let's see, so you can see, I'm going to draw a rectangle here so you can see. If this was my rectangle, I'm going to make X's in the shape of 2 semicircles coming out from the sides. So I'm going to start in one corner. You want to trace it first in pencil. You can do that this way. You know how to follow your semicircle. There's our first semicircle. And here is our second one. Now, if I showed this to you and made you guess, would you guess it was a baseball? I think so. So we're going to take our second sheet and on our red marker, we're going to write baseball. Okay, now keeping with the baseball theme, next one I'm going to do the baseball bat. Now, I'm going to pick this up for you guys and tell you. I don't know if you know this, but for those of you who live in Kentucky, and if you do, or if you've ever been to Kentucky, let us know in the comments. In Louisville, Kentucky, there is a giant baseball bat, so big. When you try and take a picture of it, you have to go across the street because it's so big. And it's in front of the Louisville Slugger Factory where they make the baseball bats. So we're going to make a baseball bat. It's not going to be that big because we have a very little paper here. So how big could we even make it? So I'll bring you back down here. and I don't want you to be confused with all my scraps here. So for the baseball bat, I'm going to make basically coming from one end, kind of an oval, but without the tip. And now I'm just going to color it in. And it kind of looks like an old-fashioned baseball bat. Now they use the thinner wooden ones or the metal ones. I don't know. Everybody uses a different kind of baseball bat now. So now we have our baseball bat. So we need to make our second answer card that says bat. There you go. So now we have our baseball bat. Up next, we are going to bring it to tennis. For tennis ball, we need green and white. Now this gets a little tricky because we said our paper is white. So how can we draw white on top of our green? So we're going to leave empty spaces for our white. Now the tennis ball is kind of similar to our baseball. And so when we draw our green, we're going to leave 2 semicircles blank white. Now to make sure that I do that, I'm going to draw the outline for that so I know I don't color it in. So I draw 2 circle lines, kind of like I was making a rainbow, but I left out the middle line. And I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. And now I'm going to color in everything except for those 2 parts green. Now I kind of wish I could make this fuzzy because tennis balls are very fuzzy. But I don't have a cool marker like that. So I'm just going to color it in. Okay. So here's our tennis ball. And now we're going to write tennis ball. I realized actually that my soccer one only says soccer. So we're going to add the word ball underneath so that it's more accurate. Okay, the other thing we have for tennis is a tennis racket. So kind of like the baseball bat, I'm going to draw a circle coming out from that bottom. Kind of looks like a head. Think about it. Now, tennis rackets have crisscross like that. So I'm going to draw a bunch of lines one way and then a bunch of lines the other way. So I'm just going to make some straight lines. Doesn't really matter how close they are together. And now I'm going to make some straight lines the other way. And there is my tennis racket. So now I'm going to write tennis racket. There you go. So let's see what we have so far. So far, we have our tennis racket. Here, I'll pick them up so it's easier for you to see. We have our tennis racket. We have our tennis ball, our bat. We have our baseball. We have our basketball, our ticket, and our soccer ball. Anybody have any ideas what else we should make? I think we have time for a couple more. So let's think what other sports there are. We did baseball, basketball, tennis. Ooh, what about swimming? What if we did a pool for swimming? That's a pretty big summer sport. So let's get our blue. I'm actually going to get something that looks like my skin color, but you can match your skin color to whatever color your skin is. So I have like 3 here that I could use for skin colors. So I'm going to do mine, but you can do whichever one you want. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to make my pool. And I'm going to draw everything underneath it, which I guess is on top for you. Everything is going to be blue. Now what you're probably thinking, well, what's the other color for? You'll see. Okay, so I finished my blue. And now I am going to do as if I am swimming. So here's my head. Can you see it? It's a little head. And there's my arm swimming. Doesn't look quite like it, but I think you get it. And I have brown hair, so I'm going to draw some brown hair. Just like that. And now with my blue marker, I'm going to write swimming pool. And add that to my pile. Okay, I think we have time for one more. So we are going to do, let's think. I'm thinking archery. So for that, I need brown and red. So archery is with the shooting of the arrows. So we're going to make a long, oh, I want to use my thick side. We're going to make a long line with a triangle at the end. And then with my red, I'm going to just make some spikes coming out the end. Just like that. And then with my brown marker, I'm going to write arrow for archery. Okay, so let's go back and see what we got. And then you can play this. Remember, we said you can play this 2 different ways. You can turn them all upside down and have to find matches like a regular memory game. Or you can say, okay, guess which sport this is for? Archery arrow. Good job. And then you have your answer. And then, oh, and then you'll say, all right, what about this one? It's a swimming pool. Next we have soccer ball. Oh, this one. We have ticket. We have our, any guesses? Our basketball. Then we have our baseball, our bat, our tennis ball, our tennis racket. I think that's it. Yep, that's it. That's all we made. So you can make as many as you want. You can change it up. You can put a boat if you want to do rowing. You can do bowling pins if you want to do bowling. That kind of rhymes. That keeps happening to me. All the videos I do, I end with a rhyme. Look at that. When you're done, you just throw out your scrap paper, clean up, and then have a fun time playing. So I'm so glad you guys came to join us this morning. We have a full day of activities. We have arts and crafts at 1 o'clock again. We have ABC arts and crafts at 3. And then we have Get Moving at 5. I think I got that schedule right. And then at 7 o'clock and 9 o'clock, we have our bedtime stories. So be sure to join us back with Get Your Play Online for the rest of the day and for the rest of the week for a full week of sports themed activities. Have a wonderful day, everyone.